Hey everyone, it is Karen Coffey and welcome to today's live. I am the founder of a company called Making Agents Wealthy. Actually, I own Karen Coffey Coaching, but that is the segment that we're going to be talking about today. And I have the honor and the privilege to talk to Miss Jill Collins out of Gulf Shores, Alabama. Now, listen, we do these interviews to inspire you, and today's interview is just amazing. It is inspirational. Jill not only has built her business, but she did go through COVID with her and her family. And she's going to be talking about that in just a little bit, how she did it, how she was able to make money, actually. And that's not what this is really about. It's about, look, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're facing, there is a way to move through it. So Jill, welcome. It's really good to have you.
Thank you, Karen. I am so thrilled to be here.
I'm just, honored that we were a part of your journey, a part of your life during this time. But before we get into all of that, tell everyone that's listening today just a little bit about who you are, where you're located, and about your real estate business right now.
Okay, well, I am in Gulf Shores, Alabama, that tiny little bit of beach in Alabama. And I have been a real estate agent for 4 years. My husband and I have been married for 33 years, I think it is, and we have 7 children. And I
Wow.
will be an empty nester as of sometime this year. My youngest one just turned 18.
Oh my gosh. So you have done, quite well in your business. What are you looking at right now as far as your production, things that are going on right now? And then we'll get to where you were when we met. We're kind of doing it
Right.
backwards today.
Okay. Well, right now, since I have been in your program, I have done $88,000, which I
Nice.
will tell you is more than I did all of last year. And I'll wait and tell what I'm going to do in the month that I had my coma. If
Oh,
we'll get to that, if you know.
for
So,
sure. So for
uh-huh.
those of you who are listening, you just heard she was in a coma. So when did we start working together?
April 13th, this year, 2020.
Yeah, right in the middle, right in the middle. And what was your thought or your when you came to us, like you said, you hadn't made that much money the previous year. How had you done in 2020 thus far when you came to us in April?
Right. I had made 22,000 so far.
Okay,
So
in
yeah,
up to
yeah,
that
in
point.
that up to that point.
And since working with us, you've made 88,000, which is 3 times what you'd made
Right. In,
for
in in 5 months.
in
Yes.
5 months. Oh,
Uh-huh.
that's cool.
Yes.
That
So
right there is amazing.
yeah,
That's
and one of the things that really resonated with me when I talked to the coaches and everything about
yeah.
starting your program was having free time, because
Mm.
making that 22,000, I was working, goodness, 10 hours a day. I mean, I'd get up and I would work and work and work, and I would, eat supper and I'd work some more. And I wanted to have freedom. I love what I do, but I
Yeah,
don't want to do it 24 hours a day.
that's right. And the reason you got into real estate and the reason most people get into real estate is because we do want freedom. And we're just a slave to
Yes.
the machine. And we so many times when we get into the business, we learn our practices from other agents that are really not that productive or well-meaning brokers, and it's not that they're not trying to lead us down a path, but we're just doing what everybody else is doing. And so when you came to us, I know you were frustrated. You were just like, I can't do this anymore, and I've got to find a
Right.
way. So tell everyone, tell us what happened after you got, because you've been a delight, of course, but tell us what happened once you got into the program. Just thoughts, anything specific you want to share about that?
Well, I would say one of the big takeaways that I've gotten from the program is I have gained such confidence
Mm,
in myself as a real estate agent that I can really help people, and I know what I'm doing.
yeah.
I know how to do it differently from
Mhm.
the average real estate agent that's out there. And so that's exciting. So, it is work. I
Yeah.
will not kid anybody. You've got to be dedicated and
Yeah.
you've got to really want it.
Yeah.
But the results are phenomenal. And I have gotten these results and I still haven't implemented everything that I've learned.
Yeah.
And when I implement it, I mean, it's going to be like, I'm going to be on fire. There's no telling where it's going to go.
I can't wait, and
Yeah.
neither can everybody else. All of your, I'm going to say, cohorts in the program, and are just cheering you on and can't wait to see what you do with everything. But you're absolutely right. You implement as much as you can. It is work, because you're shifting and changing everything. You're shifting all these bad habits, these things that you brought with you into the business that don't necessarily belong there. And so there's a lot of mindset work. There's a ton of mindset work. And there's a lot of work to get that freedom that you were talking about. For sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay. So you got in the program and it was some work and you're like, I want freedom. I'm tired of working 10-hour days. And you got COVID.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, the blessing about this is in God's timing.
Yeah.
When I started the program, God knew exactly what was going to happen and he knew when I needed to start. So
Yeah.
I was at the point of the program where we actually start building a team.
Yeah.
And so I had hired a buyer's agent a week and a half before I got sick.
Yeah.
I had just hired an admin, and she was actually working her 2 weeks leave when I got sick. So she actually hadn't even started working for me yet. So I created a team. And then I got COVID in the beginning of August. Had a horrible case of it, but so was everybody else. There's been bad cases out there. I was actually getting better. I was 1 week in.
Okay.
And my husband had it as well. And I had gone on to bed, and our daily practice was to take the little oximeter and put it on our fingers and check our oxygen, because it's real important that you're at 90%.
Yeah.
And so he put it on my finger and it didn't register anything. And he thought, it must be broken. The battery's dead. He put it on his finger and it was 97.
Oh my God.
So he put it on my finger again and nothing registered. It was 0. And that's when he knew something was really wrong.
Yeah.
I was breathing shallow. Yeah, it was a very, very scary moment for him. I obviously don't remember any of it.
Right.
Of course, he called 911. They took me to the hospital. I was in a diabetic coma. My blood sugars were 700.
Oh.
And
now, did you have diabetes, but you knew you were a diabetic before?
I knew I was diabetic, but I had controlled it with food.
Okay. Yeah.
For some time. Apparently, I wasn't controlling it as well as I should have been.
Okay.
So, I'm finding out now after going to the doctor and everything. There are things I should have known and done.
Gotcha. Right. But COVID exasperated that, I'm guessing?
COVID makes it much worse. And I had not eaten the whole week I had COVID because it's hard to eat.
Yeah.
And I drank a lot of juice, which anyone who's diabetic knows, juice is not real good for you.
It's sweet.
So I was kind of a perfect storm. In talking to doctors and everything, I truly could have died at that point. God really sustained me. I was in a coma for 5.5 days. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
My voice is still weak.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was in a coma for 5.5 days. I was ventilated during that time. And actually, the first time I responded, they got my cell phone into the room. And my husband and my 7 children would take turns calling me and talking for just a few minutes.
Yeah.
And the phone would automatically answer. So the nurse didn't have to answer it. And my husband called, and the nurse was in there for that first phone call. And my heart rate increased and my breathing increased. So even though I was still unconscious, I don't remember it. He actually had a reaction. But now when I woke up, they told me I would be on dialysis 3 times a week when I left the hospital. So they put in a dialysis port, which,
Uh-huh.
praise God, was only used one time in the hospital because I had a different port they used for the other times.
Okay. Yeah.
So by the time I actually got to leave the hospital, I was in the hospital 3 weeks.
Wow.
They said, no, you're doing better. You don't have to have dialysis. My kidneys started working. That was another praise. I had people
Oh,
praying for me across the country, across the world. I had friends who came to the hospital parking lot, did a prayer vigil, and then I had people across the United States that did a prayer vigil at the same time. So
wow.
I had and the Caring Coffee group, all these realtors, reaching
Yeah.
out. I had people texting me when I was in the coma saying, Jill, I'm praying for you. We're
Yeah.
praying for, and so many prayers that God answered in healing for me
Yeah.
during that time. Now, during that time, I had set up my team.
Yeah.
And
Leveraged
yeah,
yourself.
yes. And so obviously, when I was in the coma, I couldn't do anything. My husband had the phone at first, and my clients called my phone. So he
Hmm.
picked it up, and he was able to tell them what was going on and get them to my team. And my team carried on.
Yeah.
And they took care of my clients that I was working with before I got sick.
Yes.
So are you ready to hear what I did in my coma?
Yes.
So so in my coma, the deals and the people I had been working with, and
Hmm.
even one client that I'd worked with months ago who wasn't going to buy, went into a new builder and said, Jill Collins is my realtor. So I even had clients that were, deals that I didn't even know I had.
Yeah.
So the month of September, which would be my August, closings.
Closing.
Yes, I am closing $1.4 million in closing. It's going to be my highest commission month ever. And God did it, and my team did it, and Karen Coffey did it. It was a combination of all of these things being in place, because otherwise I would have had no income, and
Yeah.
I would be going into a month where I would be panicking and what am I going to do? And now I can rest, kind of. It's not in my personality to rest, but
Not much, but we're trying.
right.
We're
but,
trying
but
to get you there.
yes, but I have that income coming in because I had that team in place.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And it
know.
made all the difference.
And I'm looking for a Kleenex, and of course I don't have one. It's okay. I'll find one in a minute. I think I have one in the drawer. I'm wondering, I'm just sitting here as I'm getting emotional because there were so many. I gotta get a Kleenex. Okay, I got one. There were so many moments in my life where because I believe that God gave me the inspiration. You've heard me talk about it, that I was inspired. In spirit is the root of inspiration. I was in spirit inspired by God to create this program. And not everyone wants to build a team. And you don't have to. But the one thing that I found is that life happens when you least expect it.
Right.
You don't know when your parents are going to become ill. You don't know when you're going to have to take care of your children or homeschool them and can't leave the house. You don't know when you're going to be in a coma. And by leveraging yourself, Jill, and just following the program, all I ever wanted was to change one person's life. Just one. You're my one.
Many.
You're my one, and there's many, there's hundreds and thousands of women that we've worked with. But this is just so inspirational because, again, you put blinders on. And I have to give you kudos because you came in April and you said, I know we're going through COVID. We had shifted and changed all of our coaching and training to reflect that. And you just did what we told you to do. And in blind faith, really. in blind faith because you didn't know what was on the other side. You didn't know what was coming. And here, God had it all mapped out for you. And what does having that team, now I know the money was there, but if they hadn't been there, what would have happened? If you
It
hadn't
would have been
leveraged yourself.
so much pressure if they hadn't been there. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know that the folks that I've been working with, what would have happened with them.
Yeah.
Because quite frankly, they needed to purchase those properties.
Right.
And yes, it was important. And I wasn't there for them, and it wasn't my fault, but still I couldn't do the job.
Right.
So I mean, it was vital. And it's going to be vital going forward because that's what's going to give me that freedom. That the reason I joined anyway, was that freedom to have a life with my family.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And you certainly got it. And you have such a message, you have a message I'm just going to let you speak to it. We're kind of, just speak to, if you could say something, what would you say to people out there listening? What's your message now?
One thing that God has really shown me is how important really seeing people are and community.
Mm.
I had a community that surrounded me.
Yeah.
And the Karen Coffey community, a lot of times realtors aren't real friendly to each other. Well,
Right.
that's not Karen Coffey group. I mean,
it
is support, it is love, it is wherever you are, we are applauding you. Your way to go. If you're having a tough day, it's okay. Well, we're going to encourage you. So it's that community support, but it's also really seeing people. When I was in the hospital, and I prayed for God to help me to see people for a long time.
Yeah.
And I have to admit that I haven't been there. Okay.
Right.
And when I was in the hospital in ICU getting my second dialysis treatment, but where I was actually awake, the dialysis technician has to stay in there with you for 4 hours.
Okay.
And she was having issues, and she was on the phone off and on with her family, and I could tell there was a crisis going on.
Yeah.
And I still couldn't talk a whole lot, but I just sat there and I prayed for her. And when she was finished, I just told her, I'm praying for you, because that was about as much as I could get out with my voice. Yeah. And at that moment, it was like every person I saw from then on, I am really seeing them. They're real people with real problems and real stories and real triumphs. And I want to be a part of that. And that's what I'm bringing to my clients now. I see you as a real person with a real story, and I want to be involved with you in that. It's not just let me find you a home and help you sell.
Right.
It's real.
Yes.
And it's a relationship. So that's what I want to tell people.
That is so good. I think it's funny that you were in ICU when you started to see, and then you said, now I really do see people. I see them not as a transaction, not as a burn and churn. We are just taught and inundated, not just in real estate, but just get just that it's a number, it's a number, it's a number, and it's anything but that. And you are really moving. Now they're a part of your family. You're a part of theirs.
Right. Oh yeah. My clients, I mean, they have prayed for me, and I have built such strong friendships with clients where before, once we closed, I didn't keep up with them like I should. Well, now I'm keeping up with my clients because they are like my new best friends.
Yes. Yes. And it's okay. It's okay to do that. And you don't have to, and to take some time off and to have freedom, and still you have learned the hard way, I'm going to say. You must be stubborn.
I am. Yeah. Yeah.
God knew that. We're going to knock her out so she will. She can let go of the reins, let other people handle your business, and do it just as well. We have a challenge sometimes. We think, I'm the only one that people want to work with. No one else can do it like I can. And you know what? That part of that is true. No one can do it like you. They can do it like them.
Yes.
And empowering them to step up and be amazing. And then you just kind of umbrella them. and
Absolutely.
encourage them and work with them to be as productive and successful as you are. So that's just wonderful, you know. Now I know that there will be people that want to send you referrals. And I asked, so, you know, guys, if you're listening and you're like, wow, I know some people moving to Gulf Shores, Alabama. Are there surrounding areas too, Jill, that you cover?
There are, yeah. So anything lower Alabama,
Yeah.
which basically Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, Fairhope, Foley, Robertsdale. I mean, it's just, there's quite a few communities down here
Right.
that I do work in.
So lower Alabama, any of that, you can reach Jill. Now, if you're looking for this is not for you to reach out to her and ask about the program. She's told you what she needs, but if you just have words of encouragement or you were inspired, that's fine, but referrals would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, absolutely.
What is your email? I think it's jillpropertyshop@gmail.
That is correct.
Okay, so Jill Property Shop at gmail.com. And is there anything else that we just didn't talk about? Well, what's next for you? That's what I want to know. What's next for you moving forward?
Yeah, I'm excited about moving forward, and I'm waiting to see what God's going to do, because I've learned not to rush him.
Yeah.
And he's got this. I mean, he's got my business. He's got my personal life. You know, he has it all. So I don't know yet, but I know it's going to be good, because God takes everything that's tough in our life and he works it together for good when we trust him. And I totally trust him.
Oh, that's a good word right there, Jill. That is a good word. And you and I have that very much in common. You know, it's when we release it to him, it turns out amazing. Absolutely. But when we get in the middle of it, we can mess it up quicker than you know what. Just it gets crazy. So, well, Jill, thank you so much for being here. And again, is there anything that we didn't talk about that?
No, I think we have covered it all.
We have.
Thank you.
It has been an honor having you in the program. Every one of my team has just been so inspired by you, and everyone in the program that watched your journey. You're right. They were praying. They were there the whole time. And I just get chills every time I think about it. Because it just took all of us to a new level, and to see what came out of that at the end was amazing. So thank you again for being here, your time. And we just know this is just the beginning. You're part of our family.
Yes.
You're not going anywhere.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. So guys, if you just want a little more information, look, we're not here to sell you into anything. We're not here to talk you into anything. If there's something that we can do to help you wherever you're at. Now, I hope you're not in a place where Jill was, and I hope that doesn't come down the pike for you. But look, there's a webinar that we do, a presentation that I do daily. If you want to go there, go to KarenCoffey.com, and Coffee spelled with a Y, but KarenCoffey.com/making agents wealthy. And you can watch that and just see if it resonates with you. See if there's something in there. We talk about women and their value, you know, charging that full commission and making sure you're leveraging yourself and those types of things. So it's about 45 minutes. And again, I think it's worth every minute. Our feedback from it is really, really good. And Jill, I think that's what brought you to us, isn't it?
Actually, it was a sync conference.
Oh, it was.
It was, and I had different people in the real estate agent in my agency watch different strands.
Yeah.
And you actually weren't on the strand I was watching, but one of my real estate agents coworkers called me and he said, "Hey, did you see the Karen Coffey one?" I said, "No, I'm going to watch it." So I watched it.
Oh, how
and that was it, you know? Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. So I did a speaking thing because we're all virtual now. Usually their conferences are in person in Atlanta, but it was great. That's great to know that that's how you came. I didn't realize that. Yes. So yeah, guys, listen, if there's anything we can do, let us know. And we're happy to talk with you. Again, KarenCoffey.com/making agents wealthy. Talk to you later. Jill, thank you so much again.
Bye.
Bye.